It's your local government at work. Live from City Hall in downtown Warren, this is the Warren City Council meeting on SalineRiverChronicle.com.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman here. Alderman Tolfree.
Present.
Alderman Reed.
Here.
Alderman Mosley.
Here.
Alderman Henderson. Here. Alderman Burks.
Here. No, all are present. We need, item 4 is approval of the minutes.
I move that the minutes be approved as made.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Fulton, second by Henderson, to approve the minutes as mailed. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your hand. I see 6, 4, none against. Motion carries. Madam Clerk, you recognize for item 5, the city clerk report.
Okay, the balance in general fund on July 31st is $289,394.54. Year-to-date revenues is $1,491,281.60. And expenditures by department are as follows: administrative, $138,891.04. Law enforcement, $582,959.03. Fire, $140,356.57. Sanitation, $318,135.30. Building codes, $26,169.27. District court, $46,201.16. Municipal building, $13,338.99. Recreation, $94,365.48. Cultural center, $24,841.70. The armory, $5,274.21. And other, $85,757.40. Year-to-date expenditures, the total is $1,476,290.25. And that's an increase for the year of $14,991.35. In the street fund, on July the 1st, we had a balance of $203,543.52. Year-to-date revenue, $188,903.94. Year-to-date expenditures, $197,987.88. And for the year, there's a decrease of $9,083.94. And other accounts, the white page, the balance on July 31st was $2,057,847. Year-to-date revenue, $2,153,394.38. Expenditures are $2,461,217.42, and that's a decrease for the year of $307,823.04. You should also have a copy of the treasurer's report.
Need a motion for approval.
Move that we approve the financial statement as presented. Second.
Motion by Alderman Henderson, second by Alderman Fulton. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor raise your hand. I see 6, 4, none against. Madam Clerk, you're recognized.
Okay, in July, we received from the city sales and use tax $62,938.46. Year-to-date total, $431,576.23. And we're down from the same time last year, $8,961. In the county sales and use tax, we received $41,973.08. Year-to-date total is $293,394.05, and we're down approximately $300 from same period last year. You should also have a copy of the district clerk's report for the month of June. Any questions?
Both sales tax increased for the month, so over the same month last year, so maybe that's starting a trend. We have a couple of folks that signed in. The first are the Alderman got anybody they want to recognize? If not, either strong to recognize.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
To the mayor and to the chief and to all our aldermen and to each of you that's in here. I'm before you this evening because I was very saddened at what happened from our police department back in the early part of July, and I know all of you know when Miss Jones passed. And her body was lying in the church over Union Hill, part of my family. And I was sad to know that had been a warrant issued for Pastor Dunn. And I know the warrant, according to him, had come across the desk around the 11th. And Miss Jones' funeral was on, wake was on that Friday. And her family was in pursuit to the church, and the lady officer came inside the church. And I feel that that was very disrespectful. And I don't believe our chief would allow. I think I know our chief well enough to know if he would have known one of his officers come up in the church at a wake and to arrest somebody. And he did talk to her, and he went outside and he asked her to allow him to drive to the police station. And there was another police car out front. They could have followed him there, you know, but to come inside of the church when a body is laying in the church with the casket open, I feel like that's disrespectful. And I don't believe she would have gone up in a white church. I have to say that from my heart, to do that. And I feel like the police department owes the Jones family an apology, and also owe our church. We have to learn to respect each other. You know, things are done decent and in order, and we have to live by that. You know, God is not pleased with us disrespecting each other. He told us to love one another. And these people, her children, were very sad on the way to their mother's wake coming in the church, and here this woman officer inside our church. And I feel like that was wrong. I feel like that was wrong. We have to learn to love one another. God has no respect of person. Until we do that, we're going to see a lot of things happen. We see our young folks disrespecting each other. And the bottom line is, our police officers have to know that we have assigned our police chiefs to be over. Our mayor is over the city here in Warren. When it comes down to the pay, the community, they are there to protect the community, not to disrespect it. And I think we need to know that, and they are getting paid by taxpayers' money. It may be 1 cent of my money. It may be 1 cent of the very drunkard that's walking the street. But there is a place and time for everything, and I feel that way. And I hope we can live from now on and learn to respect each other. And I feel like our police department owe our church an apology, and also to the Jones family. That was very disrespectful. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, Edith. Let's hear from Brenda Stewart.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm before you this afternoon on an ongoing problem that has been going on for 2 months. The family that lives down the road beside me are Hispanics. They do not speak English very well, and they don't understand English very well. So the woman that lives there works for Dr. Chambers in Dumas. She could not be here tonight because she's working. She makes her living taking care of his children. This is my last attempt to try to help these people. I did not know that it was such a big deal to get your trash picked up at your home. 2 months ago, I got with the council person, found out the steps to take, who I should talk to, what I should try to, what comes first, and have gone from there. Now again, this has been in the progress for 2 months. There is still no garbage pickup at this residence. Got with the road foreman. He said get a culvert, have 5 trees ground. I know a lot of people in this town. That was on a Thursday. Friday I got in touch with the guy to grind the stumps. Got them done Saturday morning. The road foreman told them to go to Johnson's and get a culvert. They did do that. There was no size given when told to get this culvert. The culvert they got cost $100. This is not for a driveway, or they've got a driveway. They've got a big driveway. All of this is to get garbage pickup. Well, when the foreman got out there, the size they bought was not right, so the boy went back to Johnson's and got a bigger one, and the foreman wrote the size down on a piece of paper, and that's what he took to Johnson's to get that size culvert. That size culvert cost him $275. The culvert and the 5 trees that were pointed out to have ground was to make a round driveway for the garbage truck. When the right size culvert got there, they threw it in a ditch and threw a little gravel over it. The truck cannot go down there. When we were first standing there listening as to what to do, was told that there would be a round driveway made by the city. And there has been a little bit of dirt thrown over the culvert. The ditch wasn't pulled, so the culvert stands up about that high. These people need something done. This is the house that Warren forgot. This house does not have sewer. This house does not have natural gas. This house does not have garbage pickup. It was in limbo between all these years. They would just like to be treated as human beings, common decency. In contacting the sewer department, they were told they would have to run a line from their house out to the road and then 400 foot up the road. Well, they're putting in a new sewer line from the back of my property across Martin Street on across to George Street through the woods. The material will be there, the machinery will be there. It's going to be a little extra money on the city, but I think it's the city's responsibility to furnish sewer to your water meter. I think it's the landowners, like everybody else, from your house to the road, not 400 feet up the road. These people need some help. Their property, these ditches hadn't been pulled in 10 years, so on the roadside, it's up about 6 to 8 inches higher than their yard, so their yard floods. There's a bad drainage problem. They need some help. They definitely need some help. Anything that could be worked out, they would certainly appreciate. And as far as me, this is my last attempt. I've made some enemies with some of the town people, some of the people right here in this room because of this. And I don't intend to go any farther or be embarrassed anymore. So this is my last attempt. I would like to ask you before, just to drive down the road. This is a city street, Newton Drive. I did not know that this, when I spoke to Zach about this several months ago, about the sewer, I did not know there was one house inside the city limits of Warren, Arkansas that did not have city utilities. This is the 1940s and 50s with people like this. We pay enough, and I know that all this was incorporated in the budgets and all this other stuff, but a couple of you were in that meeting on John Newton Scobie Drive 25, 30 years ago when this sewer charge was put on our water bill, and then it's paid for, and then the money's just incorporated into the expenses. But shouldn't the people come first? Is this not another? I don't know, from some of the places I went and drove after Zach told me, these people need help. These people need help, and I think this town owes it to them. They've been here for a long. Some of these people have been here all their life, and yeah, we owe it to them. I'll do anything I can do. Will y'all?
Mr. Mayor, did we kind of shake my memory?
Sure.
We talked about that some time ago.
Yes, sir. You told me that you would check into the finance part of it. A couple of months ago, right out here in the hallway.
Okay.
You remember now?
Yeah, I remember.
Talking about the sewer side or the
Sewer side. It needs sewer. It needs, but the main thing it needs today is do something with that driveway so that the garbage truck can go down there. These people have spent $400 of their own money.
What are these people's names?
Lupe, help me out there.
Yeah, I see it.
But that's all I know. I do not speak Spanish. I'm sorry.
You said they don't speak any English.
They speak English, but it's real broken. And if they don't understand what you're saying, they won't get you to clarify it. They went and bought 2 great old big long truckfuls of gravel 2 years ago. They've maintained that road. When there's a pothole in that road, they don't call the city. They back a truck up to that gravel pit, get a shovel, throw it in there, and go put it in the pothole. When the bush hog comes down the road, it'll do one side and not do the other. I don't know. Don't ask me. That's weird. Why would you do one side and not the other? This is a spot of land that the city forgot years ago and don't want to be bothered with.
I think I mentioned that to Mr. Rand, and I don't know his schedule, if he had a chance to look at it or not. I don't know.
Well, the only thing about that, Zach, is I know that this is all going on a grant, and they're already got the surveyors out and everything to start. At the very back of my property, there's a manhole. They're going to start there, come across Martin Street, and come out on George Street. So I realize that these are contracted people. And working for contractors for the last 25 years, all of them can do a little bit more with a little bit more money, and it won't cost near now, while they're there with the machinery and with the pipe, it won't cost near what it would cost 6 months from now when they're gone. And to hire somebody to come in there and run it down there.
Do you have any idea how much it would cost?
For them, they were trying to do, and they got one of the local plumbers, and the plumber told her $25,000. But that's to run it from her house out to the road and 400 feet up there to the next manhole. And that's not the city. That's talking to a woman that can't even speak English. So that's just a great big number. If you can get it, get it. Right? So No, you could divide that in about half. The backhoe or track hoe is going to be there to dig the hole. They have to buy a pipe to go the other way. They have to buy the pipe anyway. You know, whatever the contractor charges. But it still won't be like a year from now what it would be.
Who is the contractor?
I don't know. I don't know. I've just met the state surveyors. I don't know who the contractor is. Maybe the same one that did from the manhole in the middle of the road across to York Street. They had a big track hoe down there. It may be that contractor. I don't know. But while it's there, you know, make hay while the sun shines. But on this garbage, Mike's sitting right there asking what it would take, and if this was fixed, where this could drive around. The drive around was Mr. Adams' idea. The Newton Drive goes farther than their driveway, and that's when we first called him out. That's the area we showed him. I was there with the woman's son, and he said no, it would be a lot better to put it over here, and for them to buy a culvert, and for them to get the trees ground. And then now, no, I'm not going on private property. Well, I can see that for a driveway. I can see that if you're just putting in a second driveway. These people are putting this in to get garbage service. So I think all of the little private drive, that garbage truck goes on 3 private roads twice a week. And all 3 trailer parks is private roads. So they go there. I just don't see, they've been paying $10 and something a month on their water bill for 5 years that they've been there. Bringing it all the way back out to Martin Street. And still paying $10 a month. Zach and Jimmy both were on the committee when the garbage truck started. There were certain, I won't say laws, but there were conditions. You don't pick it up 3 blocks down the road. You pick it up at each house. So I don't know where you would find that as far as the requirements of where it's picked up. But I feel sure it's probably not a quarter of a mile up the road. Where do you put yours? I put mine out by my water meter. Out by the driveway. That's where everybody puts theirs.
Are you saying that they're paying for sewer?
They're paying for water, for garbage, not sewer.
Okay, they're paying for water.
They're paying for garbage
and water. But they're not getting their garbage picked up.
They have to carry it all the way up to Martin Street, which is a good distance, Dorothy.
From their home.
Yeah. And that's rain, sleet, and snow. Cold weather, hot weather. When they're on their way to work, when she's headed to Dooman, she's got to stop and put the trash out. I mean, you're handling trash 2 or 3 different times and then paying somebody to cut. If you're going to carry it that far, what I told her, why don't you just go put it in a dumpster and ask for your money back? I mean, really, you're not getting service. So that's why they wanted this culvert in, so that the garbage truck could come to their house and pick it up. The garbage truck went down there, but he didn't have room to turn around. And I can understand that. And then I've been given examples of some place that's got a real long driveway, and they wanted theirs picked up at their back door. Well, that was your choice to build your mansion on the hill 2 miles off the highway. I can see carrying the garbage down there. No, the garbage truck ain't got no business up there. But all of this is to get service for the garbage truck. All of this is to get service. So that's really all I got to say. But I would like to invite each and every one of you, if you've got a spare minute. Newton Drive is a gravel road, 1 of 3 in this town. But it is a city street. So please drive down there and look. Please drive down there and look. See for yourself. That's all I got to say. You don't have to get out of your car. You can see it all right there. Thank you very much.
Right.
Y'all have a good night.
Thank you. I see two issues on that. One, we need to talk to the water department about sewer and water issues. And
Sounds like Zach's already done that, correct?
Well,
Mentioned to Steve, that's all.
we haven't got a report back from them yet, and I don't know what's going on there, except it is a long way to sewer. And as far as, there's been a grant received to do the sewer, but the water department hadn't done the engineering or bid it out yet, so there might be a possibility there. The grant won't pay for any of it. It'll be something the water department or the water commission will have to decide if it's economical feasible for them. As far as the trash pickup, I probably need to sit down with Tommy and Mike and the sanitation committee and see what we can figure out if there's something. It involves some miscommunication, and I think we really need to have an interpreter and talk to the homeowners, and not a neighbor. Actually, I think Brenda's done a great job of representing them, but I still think we need to sit down and talk to them.
Well, they were going to try to be here tonight, but it was an emergency.
So at any rate,
Are we going to refer this to?
yeah, I'm gonna refer that to the sanitation committee, but I think he needs some background information, and Jimmy does, as the chairman, and get him, because he's done a lot of it himself.
You're gonna have to have a road tour with your committee.
Can I say this?
Whatever you want, you're
All I
on the
want to
council.
say is, I've been down there and I've looked at it. It would not be a tremendous expense. There's some gravel there. I think it needs to be a joint effort between the landowners and the city. Maybe something like the landowners buy, pay for the gravel, whatever it amount to. City go down there and spread it. Make this turnaround. It would not be a tremendous expense to either party, for the gravel or for the equipment to go spread it. That's to do with the turnaround. The sewer, I talked to Steve Rand. There are regulations through state health department, a city, a property owner is required to tie on to city sewer if it's within, I believe he said 300 feet. These are 400 feet. So if you want on city sewer, I ain't got nothing against you going on city sewer. But you gotta pay for it, whether it's 290 feet or 400 feet. But other people in the city have done this. Now, with the equipment down there, this might be an advantage to help the property owners, talk to that contractor, help them get some of that dirt work at least, trenching and whatever done. But that's what I know about it. And I'd like to have a meeting on it too.
So put that in your committee, sir.
Thank you.
I move that the item be referred to the sanitation committee.
Second.
Motion and a second. That both items be referred to sanitation committee for a report back. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your hand. Hearing none, I see all six voting yes. Under mayor's report, we have a BCIDC report in your hand. And we've got there's no questions on that. The next item, if you'll recall, y'all let bids on the airport, and the FAA is going to pay 100% of it, and the bids came in $20,000 more than the grant. We've already done this once, but we need a resolution to authorize me to apply for the $620,000 instead of $600,000. And it'll be $620,695, which is the amount of the construction cost. What's that resolution? A570. This is resolution A570. Everyone got a copy of it? It's a resolution authorizing the mayor of Warren to accept grant funds on behalf of the city of Warren, whereas the Warren City Council has determined that the city of Warren meets eligibility requirements necessary to accept grant funds from the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation Administration for the construction of a parallel taxiway at the Warren Municipal Airport, whereas the amount of funding provided by FAA is $620,695 under grant number 305-0064-004-2012. Therefore, be it resolved by the Warren City Council that Mayor Brian Martin is hereby authorized to accept grant funds on behalf of the City of Warren in the amount of $620,695 and to sign the grant agreement from the FAA adopted the 13th of October 2012.
I move that we adopt resolution A570.
Second.
We have a motion to adopt resolution A570. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your hand. I see 6, 4, none against. All right, the next item of business is an ordinance that's in your packet. And let me do a little brief explanation of kind of how all this got started. South Arkansas Telephone Company got the contract to run high-speed fiber optic network from all the universities in South Arkansas to connect them. That fiber runs right by Warren, Arkansas, around the bypass. In order to sell inside the city of Warren, they need a franchise agreement with the city. This will allow them to wholesale their product of high-speed internet only. They are not applying for telephone, but high-speed internet only. And this will, what we're doing is granting them permission to use our rights-of-way, primarily drill under our streets. Any agreement they have as far as aerial wiring will have to be made with the telephone company or entity. One of the things that this will benefit, this will allow them in turn to approach the Warren school system, and as I understand, they are working on an agreement with SATCO to provide a high-speed internet to the school, and that will be partially paid for through a grant, what's called an E-grant, as I understand it. The school has not made an agreement with them yet, but what we're doing, we're not interfering in any of their business whatsoever. What we're doing is allowing SATCO to use our rights away, and in return for that, we'll get 5% of any collections they make off the customers they sell in the city, similar to what we get off of Energy and Centerpoint and AT&T. It's the same percentage. Part of that also provides for fiber optic connections to City Hall, Warren Water and Sewer, and Emergency Center at no charge as part of this agreement. This agreement lasts for 10 years, at which point I don't believe there's a renewable clause, and at that point it has to be renegotiated on how much we would charge them for a franchise. So.
Do we have an ordinance number?
Yes, we do.
And what about other people tying on to it, like the businesses downtown?
They'll be able to, they will be able to buy, they're primarily a wholesaler. However, they're allowed to sell internet-only service to anybody that can pay other than residential. They can sell to businesses, as I understand it.
Businesses,
banks, hospital,
state agencies.
And any type of business they're allowed to do business with.
But not individuals.
And that's not our agreement. That's the agreement they had to sign to get to run the internet.
I know that there would be some businesses that would be interested.
Well, I think it's
and some state agencies.
with that, and here's one of the primary needs we need to do this. We have an inspect building that we're paying, as you're aware, every month about $4,000, and right now it doesn't have high-speed internet, and they've built a system right against the entrance into the industrial drive, and they can run an internet. They're willing to, as soon as we get somebody, they can, before somebody can occupy that building or open the door, they'll be able to have them with whatever speed internet they need. There's going to be more and more competition in this area. There's some folks that are looking at wireless high-speed internet, establishing that in Warren. So there'll be some other agreements, I'm sure, coming to City Council's way. And this will be ordinance 870. And it's if you go through it, it's not a tricky ordinance. It's just granting these guys the same rights you've given other utilities.
You did say 870?
Yes, ma'am.
I move that we place ordinance number 870 on its first reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to place ordinance 870 on its first reading. Any discussion?
Well, like on the cable deal, when we start getting complaints and anything, who's going to feel that? Are they going to have a special number to call, or it's going to be totally different than with the cable folks on their franchise?
It'll be different than the cable people. If there's a business involved, they would have to they'll be doing business with Satco.
Not coming to us.
Not coming to you.
Just like any other.
Just like doing business with AT&T. Alderman Tolford. The same deal. Any other questions? All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. I see 6, 4, none against. Ordinance 870, it's on its first reading. On ordinance 870, an ordinance providing for the payment of franchise fees by South Arkansas Telephone Company to the city of Warren, Arkansas, prescribing other matters related thereto and declaring an emergency. Whereas the city of Warren, Arkansas, the city is a city of the first class, organized and existing under and pursuant to the laws of the state of Arkansas, and whereas pursuant to Arkansas Code annotated section 14-200-101, the city is authorized to charge a franchise fee to public utilities for which the public utilities may be permitted to occupy the streets, highways, or other public places within the city. And whereas South Arkansas Telephone Company, tax ID number 7103-57308, desires to provide data transmission services, including but not limited to internet service, video services, or telephone services within the city of Warren, Arkansas through underground fiber optic cables. And whereas the city is willing to allow Satco the privilege of using the right-of-way of city streets, highways, and other public places in the city for a period of 10 years. And whereas the purpose of this ordinance is to grant South Arkansas Telephone Company the privilege of using the right-of-way of the city streets, highways, and other public places in the city for a period of 10 years, and to establish the franchise fee to be paid by South Arkansas Telephone Company. Now therefore be it ordained by the Warren City Council of the City of Warren, Arkansas, that Section 1, South Arkansas Telephone Company may use the right-of-way of the city streets, highways, and other public places in the city for the purpose of providing data transmission services, including but not limited to internet service, video services, or telephone services to customers through underground fiber optic cables for a period of 10 years. Section 2. South Arkansas Telephone Company shall pay to the city franchise fees for the privilege of using the right-of-way of city streets, highways, and other public places in the city in the amount of 5% of its current yearly gross revenue collections of customers located in the corporate limits of the city, except that the city shall not be entitled to a franchise fee on gross revenue collections received by South Arkansas Telephone Company from the Arkansas Research and Educational Optical Network, pursuant to an IRU agreement executed by those entities on May 17, 2011. South Arkansas Telephone Company will provide the city connection to fiber optics at City Hall on North Myrtle, Warren Water and Sewer on North Myrtle, Emergency Service Center on Alabama Street at no charge as part of this agreement. Section 3. The franchise fee levied by this ordinance shall be payable by South Arkansas Telephone Company quarterly each year, with payment due no later than the 15th day of the month following the end of each quarter of the year. Section 4. If it is necessary for the city to expand its use of the right-of-way of the city streets, highways, or other public places, then South Arkansas Telephone Company, on the request of the city, shall relocate or raise or lower its fiber optic cables in the right-of-way of the city streets, highways, or other public places. The expense of such removal, relocation, raising, or lowering of the fiber optic cable shall be paid by South Arkansas Telephone Company. South Arkansas Telephone Company shall remove, relocate, raise, or lower its fiber optic cable in the rights-of-way of city streets, highways, or other public places within 90 days of the notice by the city to remove, relocate, raise, or lower its fiber optic cables. Nothing contained in this ordinance shall be construed to require or permit South Arkansas Telephone Company to utilize any electric light or power poles owned by other utilities. If South Arkansas Telephone Company desires to utilize any electric light or power poles owned by the utilities, then a separate agreement with the utility shall be a prerequisite to such utilization. Nothing contained in this ordinance shall be construed as giving South Arkansas Telephone Company any exclusive privileges. The provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared to be separate, and if any provision shall for any reason be held illegal or invalid, it shall not affect the validity of the remainder of the ordinance. Section 8. It's hereby found that South Arkansas Telephone Company desires to provide a data transmission services through underground fiber optic cables to clients within the city of Warren, Bradley County, Arkansas immediately, and that it cannot access the city right-of-way without permission of the city, all of which is necessary for the public peace, health, and safety of the city and its inhabitants and their property. It is therefore declared that an emergency exists, and this ordinance shall being necessary for the immediate preservation of public, and it says peace, and that should be peace, health, and safety shall take effect and be enforced from after its passage. And we substituted an H instead of E.
I move that we suspend the rules and place ordinance number 870 on its second reading.
May I second the motion, but I'd like to ask a question.
We have a question.
Yes.
The motion's been seconded, now there's time for discussion, and Alderman Fulton can recommend.
What about the Bradley County Courthouse? Will it be included in the reach of this?
Will they be able to, yeah, they should be able to get to it, but I hadn't put anything in there. Hello.
I would imagine they would want to.
I will, would you like me to negotiate with Satco on that issue?
Just ask Satco about it.
I'm sure we can amend this ordinance with one little sentence later, if that's all right. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, put on second reading, raise your hand. I see 6, 4, none against. Ordinance 870, an ordinance providing for the payment of a franchise fee by South Arkansas Telephone Company to the city of Warren, Arkansas, prescribing other matters related thereto and declaring an emergency.
I move that we suspend the rules and place ordinance number 870 on its third and final reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to place ordinance 870 on its third reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor raise your hand. I see 6, 4, none against. Ordinance 870, an ordinance providing for the payment of franchise fees by South Arkansas Telephone Company to the city of Warren, prescribing other matters related thereto and declaring an emergency.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 870.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 870. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor raise your hand. I see 6, 4, none against. Ordinance 870, an ordinance providing for the payment of franchise fees by South Arkansas Telephone Company to the city of Warren, Arkansas, prescribing other matters related thereto and declaring an emergency.
I move that we adopt the emergency clause.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the emergency clause. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor raise your hand. Emergency clause is adopted. Ordinance 870 is adopted and the emergency clause is adopted. Thank you. That's all I have on the mayor's report. Under administrative and standing committees, you have the police chief, you have his monthly report, and Chief Peake, you recognize. Alderman Fullerton, I believe your committee met.
Yes. The Warren City Council's Police Committee met at 5 o'clock Monday afternoon, July 30th, in the courtroom of the municipal building. All members of the committee were present, as well as Mayor Martin and Chief Peake. Alderman Fullerton, chairman of the Police Committee, called the meeting to order and asked Mayor Martin to open the meeting with prayer. Each committee member had previously received a copy of the proposed mobile video recording policy for the Warren Police Department, so they could study it before the meeting. There were several questions and suggestions which were answered and discussed. After going over the entire document, the only substantive change, which was proposed and then approved by unanimous vote, was Alderman Burke's suggestion that the CID lieutenant or CID sergeant be specified by title as, quote, the designated MVR, mobile video recording technicians, responsible for the ordering, issuance, retrieval, storage, cleansing, and duplication of all recorded media. There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned. You have a copy of the document in your packet, and Chief Peak is here and will answer any technical questions anyone might have about the system. Anybody have any questions?
Just one small question. Here recently with the state police in Jonesboro, you know, they had somebody to pull the guy over, and then when he pulled him over, he turned the camera off. Will it be something outlined as far as discipline or whatever the case may be?
As far as that's one reason we wanted to bring strict policy on this. I think it says in there that the camera will not be turned off until the traffic stops over. Any type of transportation of prisoners will be recorded completely. Turning the camera off, yes, it'd be disciplinary action, okay. This policy, along with the taser policy and other policies that we have to be followed precisely. Because if you start cutting the camera off, there's a reason you cut it off. And these recording devices can be an outstanding safety tool for our officers. It can cut down on complaints, but at the same time, if we have an officer making mistakes, even if it's just safety mistakes for him and the public, we can review these things and see where officers are falling short of where they should be. But to answer your question, yes, if the camera is cut off before the end of the traffic stop or the end of the event, there will be disciplinary action handed down.
Are there any further questions, Chief Peak? If there are no more questions on the police committee's recommendation, which needs no second, I move that this mobile video recording policy for the Warren Police Department be approved.
Second.
We have a motion by the chairman of the committee, and it requires no second. Alderman Burks, but I appreciate that second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting the Warren Police Department mobile video recording policy? I see 6-4, none against. Anything else, Madam Chairman?
No, there was no further business.
All right, thank you. Fire Chief Howard Edwards. Before I put Howard on the spot, y'all gave me permission to apply for a brush rescue truck or a fire rescue truck that would primarily respond to small, like automobile fires or grass fires, or they're going to carry extrication equipment. And so I applied for it and found out today that it actually made it through the local hurdle through USDA, the state hurdle at USDA, and now it's in the great Washington, D.C. So at any rate, that brings us to to the point where we actually need to ask for specifications. And so I've asked Howard to kind of briefly go over the truck with you, and then it's going to be referred to the fire committee because they'll have to adopt a set of specifications to go out to bid on. So Howard, you want to tell them a little bit about the truck, sir?
And I think y'all have on these. This is just typical rescue truck graphics, and excuse me, Mr. Perkins. Got fine graphics. Excuse me, sir. Are you okay?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, one problem we face at the fire station, we have extrication tools on one of our pump trucks. We have the manhole extrication
equipment on another truck. That by getting this truck, we hope to put all those types of equipment that we use to extract somebody from a manhole or from an automobile. And this is, I guess, been a dream for us for a long time. Also, this little small truck has a 300-gallon water tank on it that's capable of putting foam with this water. You can use it for your local grass fires around the houses, and it's a little bit smaller than the regular pumper. It's lighter, it get into softer ground and areas and stuff. So it'd be a real asset to our department. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them for you.
Chief, going along with this, how regular would the confined space training be performed with individuals operating that vehicle?
How would it be?
How often would it be, the training for the confined space entrance?
Well, a lot of our firemen have already been trained on using the equipment. We already have the equipment. It's probably a good time before we get something like this to redo our class. We in the recent future, we've gotten new people that has not been through that class. So we have to continue to train on something all the time. And I've been thinking about getting a class set up, be taught by the fire academy and stuff. So, and we have our sewer and water department go into manholes all the time, and for various reasons, to repair or check something out. You might remember down here on Pine, they dug a big hole, and when the floods were messing things up, and they were down in the manhole at that time. And they do have a gas meter, they do check and all this stuff, but it takes only a few minutes for somebody to get down in a manhole, and you got to get them out,
So we would not send an employee in there without having confined space training?
No.
Okay.
And you would move all of your rescue equipment onto this one truck?
Yes, sir. It would be, it makes it easier for us, to take that truck. It's got all that stuff on it. I think it'd be an asset to the community, and certainly maybe in the future help our ISO rating, where we, if we go through that again, we might upgrade to a 4 instead of 5. That would help our insurance. I think we're getting close to the time to maybe run that through too, and maybe get us a lower rating.
Y'all are aware that the lower rating saves about $500,000 in insurance premium to the citizens of Warren. So, and all this is geared toward the purchases you guys have made, and the new pumper truck and this vehicle. There'll be some improvements necessary in the water system. So all that works hand in hand. On the finance side of this, for Mr. Chairman, Mr. Reed, there is 833 money available to pay our share. It's a 55%, 45% grant, and you guys will probably need to discuss exactly how you want to pay for it, if either out of all that 833 or some out of the general fund. That's something we'll need to talk about. Any other questions for the chief on the truck? Any other questions for him on any item on his report? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Council.
I will refer that to the fire committee. I'm sorry I didn't do the legislative portion. I am referring that item to the fire committee, because you'll need to come up with a definite set of specs if we can go to bid on it. Sanitation manager, Mike May. You have his report in your packet.
Congratulations on your cardboard sales.
Alderman Mosley, you're recognized.
Now that they've Sanitation Committee has no business this time.
All right, thank you. Building official, you have the monthly report. Am I reading that right? Building permits, 2 million.
The volume is close to what we had last year as far as the amount of permits, but the dollar amount of the permits is considerable. We've got a couple of pretty nice projects going on.
Is that who's doing it? Hospital? Any questions, comments on the building official report? Thank you, sir. Under street foreman, Tommy Adams is recognized.
We got our paving done. A pretty good job, I think. Everything looks real good as far as it's been. I drove over about all of them. Shelby Street, like a freeway. No comparison to what it was.
Any requests for street bumps yet on Shelby?
People want some?
He's just gonna have Diane out there in the shop.
Alderman Burks is recognized.
Yeah, we got a list of streets that's been completed by Raleigh. And as Mr. Adams said, that Shelby, the big cost here of $83,000. And of course, it was well deserved, well needed. And Martin Street was $51,761. The only problem I have is on Rock Street where $9,291, and that's a pretty busy street. And it was done in patch here and patch there, but that's a pretty busy street. And I wish that we could have done more, need to do more on Rock Street. That's it's still synced on one side now. So, and St. Paul is $19,960. And it's a repair on the portion of seminary and at the transfer station. And then also at Cedar, I believe, where Mr. Neal lived, he's taking care of that situation. But other than that, Raleigh's done a good job as far as getting in and doing the pavement. And of course, we have so many streets here in Warren that needs desperately attention as far as continue to have to look at that. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Community and Economic Development.
Nothing at this moment.
Ways and Means.
We have 2 items that's listed under the Ways and Means Committee. First item is the shooting range contract, and the second item is the semi-annual budget review, on which we will have a meeting to review the semi-annual budget as soon as we are notified by the administration. We pray that things are going well with his wife. We know that he had been out with her. In our meeting, as it relates the memorandum of agreement with the Game and Fish, the committee did meet. We did review each page, and we were emailed a copy of the draft by Secretary Boswell, and also you do have a hard copy in your packet as it relates the memorandum of agreement. You've had a chance to look at it. We tried to add and subtract and update the actual agreement in our committee meeting, but you also have the opportunity of emailing or letting us know if there were additional items that you wanted to see modified. Are there any questions relating to the draft that you have? So everybody's comfortable with it?
I just want to get her done.
do too, but that's the first time I've seen this, so it'd be
It
hard.
was actually emailed to you, after we met, well, your name was on the email. So I'm assuming that you received it,
Miss Boswell shaking affirmative too, Alderman Mosley. You don't cross her now.
I know, and she is great at getting it. I get a lot of emails, well, first, that's great, but I missed this one.
okay, and then you have
So I don't know without
you have the
reading it.
hard copy as well that you picked up at the agenda meeting, but are you saying you need additional time? We really need to go ahead and move forward, in my opinion, as it relates, this agreement.
Well, yeah, I'll say this. I think as far along as we are involved in this, if mine needs more time, would slow anything down, I don't need any more time.
Okay.
Moving right along.
Moving right along.
Okay. Then, Mr. Mayor, what would be our next step as it relates?
Authorize me to sign the agreement with them.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to sign the memorandum of understanding. They are supposed to be here this week, and I'll notify the council, and y'all, I would be pleased if you would sit in on the
Do you know
meeting.
when?
No, I'm supposed to hear tomorrow, on the exact date.
And Kelly will let us know.
Yes. But I would be
And on
very
behalf of the committee, I would just like to go on record saying that the committee highly recommend that we move forward. And I call for the vote.
Questions been called. All those in favor of allowing me to sign the agreement on behalf of the city with Arkansas Game and Fish. It's a memorandum of agreement concerning operation of the shooting range. All those in favor, raise your hand. I see 6, 4, none against.
That ends the business of the Ways and Means Committee, and thank you so much for emailing this to us and making the hard copy available as well. Thank you.
Under Planning Commission, y'all have the minutes. I think there was one special permit, a special use permit. Under Water and Sewer, you have their commission minutes and their financial statement, balance sheet. Parks and Rec, I don't have anything to report except to tell you that I've been approached by a community league of folks that are trying to get organized to start a children's soccer league. And we have a little money in the budget to help do things out at the complex. And my thinking was to help with goals and some flags and some things like that for boundaries. And they came up with a proposal, and it was more than I expected it to be and more than I anticipated that we could help them with. So I sent them back, to refigure what they need to just get started and kind of see really how they develop this league. This is a brand new thing for Warren. It's and I understand, got sign-up sheets going everywhere in the neighborhoods. They're trying to get kids involved. I think it's a good program. Anytime you get children doing athletic events, and especially ones that are non-contact, I think it's great. I'm for helping them, but I don't have any proposal yet definitive to give to the city council and ask for your permission or ask for monies or any of that. I just wanted to give you a heads up that these guys are trying to organize this program. Under Housing Authority, you have the minutes of the monthly meeting. Cultural Center, we're getting some use, pretty active in the month of August with a combination of the school and some private entities that are going to be using it. Based on the formula for July, the city owes $1,100, the school owes $0. Most of the uses fell on us. And sign for the Warren ball players. I'm still working on getting y'all a template, and I apologize for not having it ready yet. That's kind of where we are with it. I haven't got all the cost factors.
And I think that we said at the agenda meeting, we wanted to kind of wait for about 30 days to review it.
And I'll I'd be glad to do that. And I apologize to council and Joel specifically because he was the one that led the legislation on that. And I apologize to you, sir, for not having your information.
Group
there.
effort. I won't take credit.
Well, I understand that, but I promised I'd have that ready, and I don't.
We understand, man.
I had some other things going.
We understand.
Item 11, any more public statements?
Point of clarification on the part, sir. I noticed at the park, the young kids, taking advantage of playing on the train and all the way up on top and everything, which is great. But that old social there that my man says, who's liable if someone falls?
That's a good point.
Where's my attorney?
There have already been some falls from the train.
I'm just asking a question. I mean, if someone, like a child was to get hurt on that train, who's liable?
Some is hurt on a piece of playground equipment, wouldn't it, Big Dave?
Yeah. I don't know if the city has a policy, an insurance policy or not. Probably not. Generally, a legal entity like the city is immune from court liability, but if you put a, what do you call it, something that's attractive, an attractive nuisance out there, which encourages people to get up on it and get hurt, then you could expose yourself to some liability. So I'll have to look into see if that type of thing is something the city would be liable for.
Okay. And the next thing, Mrs. Strong in her address, I was totally unaware of the situation that occurred, and it bothers me because I know.
This is her son, right?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, Mrs. Jones was a very, very dear person, friend of mine, going all the way back. But I wasn't aware of any of the circumstances that transpired, and I just wondered, I mean, is anything I didn't know anything that occurred in that circumstance.
Kind of caught me off guard too, and if y'all would give me permission, that's one of those deals, give me a day or two to work on it. And I want to visit with Edith and the family and see what I need to do.
Yeah,
I feel the same way that actually.
Yeah, well, because, that's.
No, things like that shouldn't.
And that's the situation.
She put in years of public service for the community with the county extension agency too.
Yeah.
So, dealing with the poor and things like that. So.
Well, I think the church itself was offended.
Yeah, I would like to, if y'all would allow me, I'd like to, because the person how I word this, the guilt falls on me. And as chief executive officer, I intend to go see the family and the church and whoever it takes to make it right.
And
you can never apologize, I mean, you can't take back.
Yeah.
But
and
you
hopefully
can,
this will never happen again.
But we can.
And he was on program.
He was on program to do the funeral service.
He was to do the obituary.
To do the actual eulogy.
I will.
And a former commissioner. The police commissioner.
I am responsible. So I will do my best to try to talk to them. Edith, you stick around. I want to visit with you a minute. You got 5 minutes for me. Any need to pay the bill?
No, wait. I have a public.
Oh, wait a minute. Alderman Fulton requested this time, and his attention is required.
I am leaving the table because I am not speaking as the council person or for the council or for any part of the city administration. This is simply a personal opinion, and I understand it isn't shared by very many people.
No new text. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I imagine that all or most all of you got one of these yellow cards. And Sam and I both did. And I'm pretty sure that everybody who is registered to vote got one, because nobody ever sends me anything addressed to Tommy Fairfax Fullerton, except political people or political organizations that I don't know. So I think that's what this came from. At any rate, I am for the county half-cent temporary sales tax. And I know that's not a very popular position, but I do think that scare tactics such as this ridiculous figure of $500,000, let me, Jack, pass those around to your table. I gave them to the other day. Sam took one look at it and said, my goodness, that's ridiculous. The only way to come up with this $500,000 figure is to explain that if 0.5% is 1%, 0.005 equals $500,000, then 1%, 0.01 would yield $1 million. But to collect this much, Sam says you'd have to have $100 million a year in retail sales for Bradley County each year. And, you know, I think it would be wonderful if Bradley County had that much retail sales. But I don't think there is a prayer of that happening anytime soon.
Let's get a Walmart.
That's right.
That's not what happened.
But that's, Sam kept telling me all these figures, and I said, well, write it down, because his very visual wife can't do mental math like he does. So he wrote it down, and that's what I had tested out to the council members. Bradley County needs this half-cent temporary tax to meet needs, such as the transportation of prisoners to the jail down in Hamburg and all the ongoing expenses. And I would hate for anybody, I respect everybody's opinion, and if you don't want to vote for it, obviously don't vote for it. But I don't think that scare tactics like $500,000 a year is the way to go about trying to talk about an issue like this. So I hope that you will disregard the $500,000 a year figure and vote your convictions on other grounds if you want to, but think about the needs of the county and what it will mean to all of us who are also citizens of the county as well as citizens of the city. Thank you.
Thank
You just send them yellow cards out to you.
Marty did. Pay the bills for July.
I move that we pay the bills for the month of July.
Motion and second to pay the bills. Any discussion? Here none. All those in favor, raise your hand. 6-4, none against. The meeting is the 10th of September, 5:30. Need a motion to adjourn?
Move that we second.
And a motion by Burke, second by Henderson. All those in favor stand.
Remember you were saying we need a Walmart here.
No, you don't. Put your capital right outside.
All right, see ya.
Nine, 10.